Hello bibliophiles, and welcome back to Blatantly Bookish. I'm Marissa, and today I'm here to talk about the 7 reasons why I love Jane Austen. Obviously, I love Jane Austen. She's one of my favorite authors. I talk about her and her works a lot with Katie from Books and Things. She loves Jane Austen too, of course, which is why we are hosting the Readathon Jane Austen July, in which we read books by and about Jane Austen in the month of July. And I thought while you were participating in Jane Austen July and reading along, you might like a little gushy video about the 7 reasons why I love Jane Austen. I know 7 doesn't seem like a lot of reasons, but I promise you, you don't need many reasons to love someone's work. You just need good reasons. 1. She is hysterical. Her writing has a delightful, sharp, and biting wit that is brilliant and unique to her and her alone. It's different from the humor that we're privy to today, and it's frankly refreshing. Her humor points out the inconsistencies of her characters and humanity in general. So, just to share one of my favorite examples of her wit, in Pride and Prejudice, Elizabeth Bennet's mother gives her an ultimatum to marry Mr. Collins. Mr. Bennet says, "Very well, we now come to the point. Your mother insists upon your accepting it. Is it not so, Mrs. Bennet?" "Yes, or I will never see her again." Mr. Bennet, "An unhappy alternative is before you, Elizabeth. From this day, you must be a stranger to one of your parents. Your mother will never see you again if you do not marry Mr. Collins, and I will never see you again if you do." Mr. Bennet is one of my favorite characters. He gets some of Austen's best dialogue, and I like to think that he and Jane Austen have the same brand of humor. Number 2, she writes complex characters. All of my favorite books in general have well-developed characters, and Austen's works are no exception. She has a knack for writing characters who show her amazing insight into the human character as a whole. They are vain and weak and foolish and selfish and kind and generous and naive and overly confident and completely inconsistent. And in short, they span the gamut of human emotion and experience, and it is absolutely brilliant. Number 3. She's timeless. There's something about Jane Austen's work that allows it to apply to anyone in any time period. She's dealing with themes that any reader can relate to. Family relationships, unrequited love, financial straits. I mean, there's a reason that her works are over 200 years old and are still widely celebrated today. Number 4, she's a product of her time. I know, I just said that she's timeless, and she is, but her works also reflect her time period, the Georgian and Regency era, and the British imperialism inherent within. And I love how that shows how human she is, not to mention how I love learning about history in novel form. Number 5, she's an acute observer. She sees through people's politeness and strict adherence to social convention and into their true opinions and motivations. She's not afraid to draw attention to individuals' inconsistencies and absurdities. Her books are full of her observations on society and human nature. Follow any recurring minutiae in her books, any ordinary and commonplace theme, and you can end up with a profound exposition of humanity. Number 6, she's an innovator. Do you realize how Jane Austen's work contributed to the form of the novel? Austen's work shows true innovation and expansion of what the novel can do. She was the first to use free indirect discourse to, in essence, filter her plots through the consciousness of her characters. It's technically third person, in the sense that the characters' perspectives and thoughts intertwine with the narrator of the story, and it's now in most works of fiction. Her dialogue is brilliant, giving even minor characters unique and singular traits in speech. She set the stage for literary realism and authors such as Tolstoy, George Eliot, and Charles Dickens, and she made all of these great contributions to literature without professional advice or a circle of authors to discuss her ideas with. Number 7, she makes me want to reread her books again and again. Seriously, her books are structured with so many facets and layers and details that each time I read her work again, I glean some new perspective. I'm not a person who rereads books very often, but Jane Austen makes me want to reread her books again and again. So why do you love Jane Austen? Please let me know in the comments down below. I hope you're having a wonderful Jane Austen July, and I'll see you in another video very soon. Bye!